that they come up with a plan, you come up with a plan, and the third part of this thing is the people that are involved, that live here. And we're the ones that's been left out. And then the only time we know about the plan is when you call a meeting like this and you dump it on us, and we don't have time to even think about it, ask the right questions, and even if we did, it doesn't matter. You're just telling us what you're gonna do. You're not giving us an opportunity to change your mind.
Except for Nick, you know that's not true. With the whole reason the whole DPVE thing came up and went away was because the community, and you in particular, had a problem with that. That's why that went away. That's why the PVWs. That's why that got shut down.
That's why we're not in the
But,
Sanchez home.
but why do you think these people are upset?
I know, but
Because-
you know, that's pretty unfair to say that, because we were all here at a meeting. We were all here less than a month ago. All this happened in the last month. And for you to say, well, that's not why we're not in a Sanchez home, could anybody, like at that meeting, could somebody say, hey, we're thinking about using this as an office? Nobody said that.
I did say it to one person. And, yeah.
How many people?
Wasn't me.
Who that one person was?
Would you name that person?
Dennis, man.
No, you didn't tell me that y'all were You told me y'all were gonna release these 2 trailers, and you asked me if I was okay with that. You remember my response. But anyhow, no, you never told me about moving into the house.
Nick didn't say we were gonna move into a home that we purchased.
I'm just saying, you know, from our
Some people already believe it.
perspective,
That's what I didn't want to hear.
from our perspective, it looks like it's already a done deal when we find out about it. And it's not to be ugly, because personally, it doesn't affect us over there.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
Everybody's frustrated. DNR's frustrated, the parish is frustrated, you are frustrated, we're frustrated. This is a frustrating situation.
Yes, it is.
And like we've said many, many times before, Gary, Bruce has said, we've all said, there is no playbook for this situation. We couldn't pick up a manual and say, how do we deal with a cavern that has failed and dispersed gas across a tight-knit little community in South Louisiana? How do we deal with that? So what we've had to do, please, we've had to learn as we go. And as I've acknowledged many times, we've not been perfect. We've made mistakes. I acknowledged just here tonight that it was a mistake. And I will tell you now it was a mistake not to tell everybody that we're thinking about moving into another place and getting your buy-in. Okay? Would it have changed things? I don't know. Would it have been agreeable? I doubt it. Are we moving down there? Apparently not. So, we're frustrated. We're all frustrated. And I want to put a finer point on the comment I made about the lack of cooperation. It's not to say that DNR is not cooperating or the parish is not cooperating, and I would hope that they would agree that we've been cooperating. The problem has been that you've got 2 camps, and those camps are up here, and there's brilliant people in both, and there's a disconnect between them. That's what's been frustrating to me.
We're in the middle right there.
We're all in the middle, folks.
But there's 3 camps. And that's apparently what y'all have forgotten, is the 3rd camp. You know, because, number one, you insist on having community meetings in an evacuated area where the community has said, we're not going to participate in the evacuated area, but you continue to do it anyway. So you really don't want the community to hear what you have to say.
I think the majority of people in this room probably would prefer to have it here than driving a phone.
Well, sure, it's convenient. It's convenient, but
Well, no, you just said, we don't, the community doesn't want to have the meetings here. And these,
well,
Nick,
this
the
is like
community.
everybody within the community, pretty much everybody is still living here. So how can you say the community doesn't want to have the meetings here regardless of what they say?
Because I've had them tell me that.
Who? Had who? Who in this room?
I didn't say
basically shows
did-
up at every one of these
Did I
meetings?
say anybody in this room? I did not identify anybody at all.
You said the community.
Do you believe that just the people in this room is the community?
I believe most of
We're
these
here.
meetings here at the trailer have to do with everything that's happening very local, down that street, across the highway, and that's why it's being done here. But the people that show up every one of these single meetings, I think pretty much everybody prefers not to have to travel.
I
Let me
just
just-
think that you don't understand community then.
Nick, let me respond to that. Texas Bryan has no desire then, no desire now, to exclude anybody from the communication process, okay? We came here as an outcome of a public meeting in Napoleonville where we were essentially escorted out of the building by police. I was at the podium, I couldn't get a word in. Do you remember that?
Sure.
Was that constructive?
Oh, thank you.
Did that help anybody? So we came here,
You-
and what we
what you
found.
have to understand
if I could-
is-
Please, just let me finish, please. We came here and we developed personal relationships, which is what you guys are begging for. Find out what we want, and what we need. Closer setting. It's been productive. This has been productive. That's why we continue to do it. The other factor you have to consider, Nick, is that there's been a significant portion that have settled, moved on, and they're not crowding in here because they don't have an axe to grind. They don't have a status to hear. They elected to move on. We're trying to talk and speak to those of you that want to stay here.
I don't want to stay.
Well, and you have that right. You have that right. I'd rather you did. I have a feeling, and I may be wrong, but I have a feeling that everybody that chooses to stay here is going to look back at this time period and say, I'm sure glad I did that.
And I am
Because I'm not
happy
convinced-
for anybody who stays because they want to. I am thrilled to death because I know how they must feel, because I know how I feel just knowing that I can't stay.
You know, it's the biggest kicker in all this, and this, I have to say it. Way back years ago, when somebody drilled too close to the edge of the salt dome, I think DNR or whoever reported that obviously nothing was done or whatever, but that's what started this whole commotion. Because somebody did something they weren't supposed to do, and somebody that was supposed to regulate them and stop them didn't do their job. That's it. Does anybody disagree?
And he's nowhere to be found today.
Amen.
I want to just clear the air about something, because already last week I was accused of being a liar. The other week when we had the meeting, I don't know if anybody else was witness, and you and I talked, and you asked me you said y'all had plans to move these trailers out. Now, I'm not debating this with you, I'm not fussing you, but if you think you told me that y'all planned to move into little Tony Sanchez's house, I did not hear that, or you did not say that.
I'm not going to say that I said that.
'Cause-
But I do think I said that we're going to move into property that we own. I think I did say that.
Maybe,
Because at that time,
I
we
don't
were,
recall that.
Mark this, I was there, and those were Mark's exact words, that we
We'll
were gonna
move
move
into
into
the
property.
property.
yeah, we were
But he didn't
so,
specify what
He did not, he did not say the
we
Sanchez
were looking
house.
at options, and I
Because-
had one criteria for Mike and the others, said, guys,
Right.
we don't want traffic going into a home that's off the 70. We want to be as far away from the community as possible. Obviously, we want to be in a home that has access to 70, and the Sanchez property seemed ideal.
Yeah.
And that's,
But I just want to clarify, because, some people think, I told some people in my community, in my neighborhood last week, that I didn't know y'all plan was to move into Little Tony's house, and I did not know that. And as evidence, if anybody wants to make a phone call, call Brandon Almond. Brandon called me the next day, or maybe another day after, and he started talking about restrictions and putting an office, and I said, well, Brandon, I said, my property up front, this property is not subject to the same restrictions as the subdivision. No, that's not what I'm talking about, Mr. Dennis. He said, about they're moving into Little Tony's house. I said, what you mean? Well, yeah, they're gonna move it on, they're gonna set up their office in Little Tony's house. So I submit that to everybody. I did not lie. And Brandon will substantiate that story. Because when he called me at first, I thought he was talking about this. I said, why is somebody raising a question about this? Didn't make sense. But anyhow, we're okay with that. But also, I wasn't gonna say anything about this, but I will as the developer of this subdivision and as the former chairman of the control committee. And I'm gonna ask Bruce and you both, we talked about this many months ago, because I felt it was my place as chairman of the control committee. I asked y'all then, I'm gonna ask you now in front of my neighbors and everybody else. What is the intention of Texas Bryan? Do y'all plan on coming into our neighborhood and changing any restrictions? Is that y'all plan, to change any restrictions?
no.
Okay, that's what you told me before, and that's never changed. Okay, now,
I'll
y'all
tell you
have
what
that
the,
on record, that was discussed before.
tell you what the intention is, and it's the same intention we've had all along. We wanna get your lives back home.
Right, and I made it very clear to both of you guys, on behalf of everybody in Sportsman's Paradise, that we want to maintain the integrity of our community the way it is now. We want it to be a nice place to live. And Texas Bryant has become our neighbors, so, you know, I did ask y'all then, and you repeated the same thing now. It's not your intention to come in and take over and change our restrictions. Okay.
Right. And you know, like I said earlier, the insurance company has concerns about flipping a property that they just paid a settlement on. Well, assuming the Texas Bryant's owner said, ha, we've got all these houses down here, maybe we will get in the real estate business. That would be pretty foolish to a wealthy family, selling homes with a known problem, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be kind of setting them up for some claims down the road? So it just doesn't make sense. It's
They can
not.
always.
No, but they have people that would buy them just because they could get them at a good price.
Exactly.
Okay, to clarify something right now, has Texas Bryant made the decision to demolish the homes or possibly resell them? And I mean, I think I know the answer.
What I've been told by my boss is we're not gonna rezone.
That's what they're saying now.
It is our intent to demolish them. But that's contingent upon getting the insurance companies okay.